Hey guys, I'm Miguel. I'm 42 years old and I'm learning game development in order to start working on my dream game. 2D run and gun, sci-fi manga inspired cyberpunk co-op action platformer. Inspired by classics such as Metal Slug and Contra, as well as modern 2D action platformers like Huntdown and Blazing Chrome. Ideally with a retro pixel art look and feel of games like Armored Warriors from Capcom, Final Fantasy Tactics, and Snatcher from the Sega CD era. So the game that I have in my mind is definitely inspired by like the old school Super NES games and old school Capcom games. Definitely Metal Gear Solid Snake talking to Meryl and using the intercom or whatever that was called.
You're a real bastard. Just like my uncle said.
Huh. I told you. The real me is no match for the legend.
It looks like you were right.
I'm a big science fiction fan, so I'm definitely inspired by movies such as Fifth Element, which is probably my favorite movie of all time. Total Recall, 90s anime like Akira, Iria, Venus Wars. Gremlins 2 is one of my favorite movies, and I think it's an underrated masterpiece. So what inspired me to get into game development and tackle this in my spare time is a game called Huntdown, actually. I remember me and a good buddy of mine were at my place and we just randomly saw it and downloaded it on PS4, and we had the time of our lives. We played hours. The bosses are hilarious. Like, I love the setting. It's very retro, like action, and it totally inspired me. I've always thought like it'd be so cool to make video games, but I didn't actually think it was possible as an adult, really, because I've been my whole life doing in marketing and sales, so I didn't come from a computer science background. But I found out more about game engines such as Unreal and Unity and how accessible they are nowadays in the last couple of years. So I decided to bite the bullet and just go into it and try to make this happen. So I watched a couple of YouTube game dev roadmap videos to try to come up with a methodology for my game dev journey. And after some research, I landed on the following kind of roadmap setup. First month is publish 4 games on itch.io. So 1 a week. These games are based on previous tutorials, and I have tweaked them a little bit here and there, but it all has to be within the span of a week. And I published 3 out of the 4 games. There was this one space shooter game that I, for some reason, was the very end. I had this huge bug that I had to like plan out, and I just straight up ran out of time, so I kind of had to drop it. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future if you guys are interested. So I did 3 out of 4, so that wasn't too bad, you know. Then I made a really cool little Metroid Vania. I got to play around with like 2D jumping, collisions, the player controller, a little bit of AI in the sense of the enemy characters responding, having like little from walking to like a player detected to go into shooting the character. And you guys, please, if you guys are inclined, like check out my itch.io page. A couple of my games are on there. Let me know what you think. Just, they're rough. They're very small, short things. I got to mess around with a 3D game for Unity on there, like a little robot game that's like third person, like bird's eye view. So that's fun. That's not usually the kind of games that I like to play, actually, but it was fun to just have that experience in 3D and Unity. But I'm wanting to also learn Unreal for basic like 3D games. I grew up with Resident Evil from the 90s back in the day, so I would love to do like a scary game with like PlayStation 1 graphics. So I'm learning Blender in order to like do that. I'm working on 2D Endless Runner for a month. I'm basically working on it based on a tutorial. But I'm wanting to tweak it, add some more levels, add a little shop so you can like purchase colors for the Endless Runner, change the platform colors in that options and stuff. So ideally I would want to publish this on itch.io and maybe on mobile. And then the month after that, I'm planning on working on another game for a whole month, focusing on that. I would like to do like more simple, kind of expand on the Metroidvania game that I made in the first month, because I love Metroidvania games. So I would like to expand on that and do kind of like a RPG game within that month to kind of like just learn all the mechanics, get down the camera, cinemachine, player controller, AI, which is something that I'm wrapping my head around now, finite state machines, all of that. And then after that, work on a game for 3 months and ideally publish that small game commercially, whether it's on ish.io for a couple of bucks or Steam or mobile, in order to, you know, kind of like just test the waters and just kind of get that experience through of like actually publishing like even whatever, even if it's a small game. And I get the advice of not jumping into making your dream game when you're just a noob, because you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. Like the game that I have in my head, I would love to make it with the quality that I expect. To do that in your beginning as a beginner would just, you know, set you up for disappointment and burnout. So I don't want to do that. Starting really small, keep building games. A lot of YouTubers recommended them. I can't remember them, the YouTubers' names at the top of my head, but I'll definitely like put them in here, you know, as I talk about this. Very super great information. My intentions with this YouTube channel is to, you know, connect with any other fellow game developers out there or anybody that's interested in game development. If you guys are also 80s babies that are now getting into the idea of learning game development, I would love to hear from you, you know, and know that I'm not alone. There's a lot of young people out there making games and getting into game development, and that's great. It would be nice to reminisce about that stuff with people. I'm starting a Discord page, so if you guys are wanting, you know, you can join that. And if you guys are, you know, you want to nerd out about anything retro video games, 80s and 90s, or retro sci-fi, anything retro futurism, I'm a big nerd of retrofuturism. I absolutely love that stuff. And also I'm actually looking for players to play Aliens Fireteam, so if anybody's out there, please join my Discord, because my friends got into it but they didn't really keep playing, and now I have no friends to play Aliens Fireteam with. So, you know, I'm definitely looking for players for that. And if I can inspire other game developers and viewers, you know, by sharing my progress as I'm going through learning all the stuff and going through this journey, then great. I would love that. I would love to see that. Please share with me in the comments if you guys, you know, resonate with this and are also wanting to start game development. Why not? You know, it's never too late. 40s, but you know, whatever, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like 80s, whatever, it doesn't matter. Life's too short to have regrets, right? So let's make games. So what do you guys think of this roadmap and this strategy? Have you guys, I'm curious if you guys have also done something similar, like a similar roadmap, and what your experience is. I have yet to do, I did one game jam a while ago, like this was a couple of years ago, and it was a Game Boy game jam. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's the game is on my ish.io page. It was fun. I had a great time in that little game jam, and I want to definitely do more game jams. I'm thinking I'm gonna do one in between as I finish publishing this Endless Runner, and then the month after, I want to join a game jam then, and I'll definitely share my experience with all of that. So if you guys have any recommendations of any sources of knowledge out there, that would be great. I would love to hear from you guys. You know, if you guys are in a similar developer journey, I will be putting links for that. I'm really enjoying the Code Monkey, the YouTuber's his C# course that he has. I recommend it. I mean, it's dense, but I'm kind of like tackling it little by little as I go. It's been helpful. And I use it more as a resource to kind of like check in with, like, you know, code and C# mechanics and things that I'm kind of like getting marinating in my brain. Another cool C# course that I'm doing is a GameDev beginner course. He has a online video sessions. He has like a whole video catalog. So yeah, you guys, I'm hoping I can update you guys on my progress as I'm learning things. I mean, this is all new to me, so I'm gonna, you know, learn as I go. Rooting for like maybe one video a week, you know, depending on my work and, you know, my life. Excited for this. I love video games. I've loved video games my whole life. I kind of stopped playing games for like about a decade, like in my early 30s, because I was like, I thought it was like too cool for school for games, you know, like, oh, I don't do that anymore. But then I just kind of got back into it because, you know, games are great. Like, I don't have to defend them for you guys know, you get it. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much.